The company has no serious competitors so far because the patents are still in the hands of the company. But the demand for the special oils is constantly increasing. We should reevaluate the company.
The housekeeper put the palm tree crooked in the pot. That's all. The movement was an optical illusion. No doubt, the palm is leaning towards the figure.
Mom?
Linda?
Are you all right?
Sure, I'm fine. And you?
Have you heard from Grandma?
I was on the phone with her yesterday. Why?
Just asking. I'm not superstitious.
Linda? Are you there? Please call. It's Mom. It's about Grandma.
I'm not saying we don't do it at all. All I want for us is to do it later.
Her will says within a week of cremation.
Then variant 2.
Just listen to yourself. Variant 2. No, Andy. I'll do it myself, according to Grandma's will.
But your grandmother's dead. What could happen to you? We give the urn to a truck driver who drives over the Brenner Pass and who can then let the ashes of your grandma trickle so neatly from a bridge into the valley.
I feel like we're fooling Grandma.
How can you fool someone who no longer exists?
There are things that are there even if you don't see them. It's like with, I don't know, like with the back of the moon. You can't see it either, but it's still there.
Hello, your grandmother's gone.
What makes you so sure?
Besides, it takes time and money to get there. We can't make it until our plane leaves. The plane is Mallorca. Mallorca is our vacation. Our vacation, that is important to me.
Me too, but it's not running. Grandma wants to go home. Someone has to take her there.
Even if I went on vacation alone?
There are things that belong together. We must not separate.
And the two of us, don't we belong together?
And there is a time to unite these things. Grandma and Sterzing. We also have a time when we come together, and you can't force these things. You have to obey when you know it's there.
That's all right. Just tell me how you know a cab driver can't do it for us if it's not a truck driver.
I've experienced it. Do you understand?
The yucca palm thing? The palm tree has tilted towards the music system because it builds up a magnetic field when it's switched on. This attracts the plant. It's a coincidence, okay?
We could rebook the vacation.
For a fantasy? You're in a crisis. That's normal. A loved one dies. You can't draw the wrong conclusions. The palm tree and the glass and your grandma, it's got nothing to do with each other. This is the normal chaos in the world.
What I'm experiencing is not my imagination. It's something that has a lot to do with us. I don't think I could love you if I didn't know it all came together in one hand. The glass, the palm, Grandma, you, me. It is God's will that I take the urn to Statzing.
It is your will, Linda. And you can tell me that your invisible grandmother is more important than our holiday together.
That's not fair. Oh, God. Why is it so hard to tell you there's more to this than me and you?
By going on vacation with a can full of ashes?
It's all one. It's God's action in the world.
Let me think about it, okay? I just find it bizarre that you risk our vacation for something that no one sees. I even think you would risk our relationship for it.
Our relationship is something nobody sees, isn't it? No one can see pain. Who can prove love? Nothing that gives meaning to our existence could be seen.
Money rules the world. That's what I see. We're here.
Institute for Analytical Philosophy of Religion.
Yes, it doesn't matter what their names are. My boss heard a lecture by the professor about the probability of God's existence. He was very enthusiastic about the philosopher.
You talk to your boss about us? This is crazy. We might as well be on our way to Statzing.
The fact that I want to know how likely it is that the dead can live and use palm trees as Morse devices from the afterlife, that is only reasonable.
The point is, as I just said, that there are people who are religiously more musical, and there are those who are more unaware of this reality. Often the religious sphere opens up to people in times of powerlessness, or they lose someone close to them.
By setting a yucca palm in motion?
Well, I think it's not about what actually happens. Obviously, a glass cracked, didn't it? That there is more than our senses perceive is shown to us by bats with their echo sounder, or by that shown to us by every microscope. But this is still not communication.
So, if the comparison is to be correct, it would have to be cremated bats chasing mosquitoes in the dark, or telling us to go to Statzing.
You're not funny, Andy. My grandma loved me, and I think she's still alive.
That's okay.
Then why wouldn't she contact me?
Then how come I don't notice it?
You are.
Just by you telling me about it.
Don't you trust me?
Yes, I do.
But...
That's the point. There's no message in itself. No revelation from the hereafter in itself. As if an angel with a sword stood behind you and forced a message on you. A message that you cannot escape at all. but the being gives itself in the message. You must accept the message. It's not like a warehouse clerk dropping off a parcel with his forklift at your place. But in a certain sense, the warehouse clerk is already the package.
But that's the way it is now.
I told you.
But I can see you. I can touch you.
All this proves is that your girlfriend exists, but not what you mean to her and what she means to you. You can't see that. You have to assume that. And you lead your entire life according to this faith.
Why not? I love her.
And I love Grandma. And Grandma loves me. If you weren't here anymore, I'd wait for a sign from you too.
Do you want me to wiggle a palm tree too?
It's not that far-fetched a thought. Everything we know about the structures of reality does not exclude the possibility of God communicating. Maybe Linda's grandmother is communicating through the palm tree. This seems strange, but it does not have to be ruled out, which means that it's not unreasonable to go to Sterzing.
But she can't force me.
Like you could force her to drive 50 in an inner city area? No. As little as one can prove that this is God's action in the world, one can prove that this is not God's action in the world. More than finding it plausible that God is acting here and now and getting involved with it is just not possible. Otherwise, it would be contrary to our freedom, which is necessary to engage in God's offer of action. God's offer is a matter of faith, and therefore always a risk from the point of view of a rationally thinking person, because he wants empirical certainty for his decision.
Okay, Grandma. Grab a hold. It's time to go. I'm taking you home.
Get this over with, Linda, and get back to us soon so we can still have some of the vacation.
Shit. What if he's right and I'm really doing something crazy? He's leaving me standing here. I'm certainly too complicated for him. But if it feels right, then it can't destroy our love either. Andy has to feel that I'm doing the right thing.
You are in a crisis. And you can't tell me that your invisible grandmother is more important than our holiday together.
What am I gonna do now? I need a hospital.
She collapsed. Just imagine driving a car in that state.
Suspected tumor in the brain.
Some vessel in the frontal brain is disconnected.
Take care that she doesn't faint and doesn't wake up anymore.
Senior consultant, room 200.
She must go to radiology.
Senior consultant, room 220, please.
Oh, shit. done?
I haven't done anything. It's a tumor.
That serious?
The only question left is whether it's malignant. Then I would die soon. Or not. Then I would die anyway, but at least not soon. Imagine, when I was driving, I was afraid I was doing the right thing, but you might leave me because of it. And now I have to think that the only reason I saw the palm tree move was because I have a tumor. I'm crazy. I see ghosts.
Don't talk so much. You need rest.
But that's not fair.
How long before they get your score?
Maybe in the afternoon.
Should we get something to eat?
Can you do that for us?
A change of air wouldn't harm you either. Praying doesn't change the nature of your brain cells anyway.
What do you know about what prayer does?
Well, then explain to me how it helps to pray to a God who creates beings who get sick, and then pray to him to get well. He can create healthy beings who pray to him. Either a God like that doesn't want to free his creatures from suffering, or he can't.
Fact 1. The God you dream of does not exist. Fact 2. God is not God because he heals, but because he loves.
Contradiction.
You better get some food.
Where's the contradiction between healing and loving?
I imagine Jesus taking me by the hand. And in the hand that he holds out to me, there are deep furrows. So I think to myself, in the furrows, there nests the suffering. And the deeper the suffering, the greater the hope.
Pizza or fries?
God has created us to love him. This can happen in good or evil.
So, French fries, ketchup or mayonnaise?
You think it's benign?
Do you want to make bets?
Seriously, I'm scared.
Of course it's benign. To believe anything else would be cynical.
The world can be cynical.
I'm an analyst, not a gambler, and I love you so much. It's going to end well.
And if it would be more logical that I have to see death to understand life?
I don't think tumors make sense.
What you think isn't the point, because the wall I drive against is racing towards me. You see, the point is that I have two ends. The back is still close enough to tent, the other one is racing towards me. And God has no end. No wall comes towards him that he races against, and he doesn't let us look into his cards. How can Andy talk about tumors making no sense?
Now, you just wait and see for the diagnosis.
And if I'm lucky and that thing isn't malignant, it's ticking like a time bomb in my head.
tomorrow, shaking from my yesterday. Still waking up, still waking up, still waking up to today. Holding on to my tomorrow, shaking from my yesterday. Still waking up, still waking up, still waking up to today. Open up my eyes, lately I can't see.
Oh boy. Awesome. The mountains.
Watching me.
Hey, nice and careful driving, young man.
Everything is better when you are around. Everything is better when you are around. Everything. Everything is better when you are around. Everything is better when you are around.
This could be the end of it.
Yeah, right.
When I was a kid, I wanted to know if God was capable of doing evil. When they told me I couldn't know, I forgot about God.
And today?
That's what I mean, until this day. How are you feeling?
Fine.
I mean, it went fine again, but a benign thing like that is still an egg in the brain.
Probably takes getting used to. I think I'm beginning to understand what you mean by love. That love's the reason for everything. I mean, that's why I have to go with your grandma.
Yeah, weird, right? It doesn't feel that way. But we're lucky.
Everything is better when you are around. Everything is better when you are around. Everything. Everything is better when you are around. Everything is better when you are around. Everything.
When I was as young as that kid with that motionless clown over there, my father drove me to kindergarten. I saw a blackbird lying in the street. His answer was that the blackbird must have been dead. I wanted to know what that was, be dead. Dad said, "You're dead when you don't wake up from sleep." I also asked him, "What do you do when you're dead?"
Why did you ask that?
I was a kid.
Hey, adults talk about death too.
My parents don't. My father said that he would like to prove God before he talks about death, because without God, there is no point in talking about such things.
And that's where you became a banker?
Yeah, that was my opinion too.
And then you fell in love with me.
Do you think there is such a thing as someone looking from the sky into your wine glass and already knowing when you will drink it? Also already knowing when you will lie next to me in bed?
And what influence will wine have on our love life?
Well, anyway, I know how you're doing and whether you'll be used to your new knowledge of your head.
My glass is thirsty, if that's what you mean. And can we order another half-liter?
What's that?
What do I think? That there's someone or something that thinks it's so cool that we should exist, that invented us and then does what it wants with us.
And yes, we have to try to play along with its game.
So, there's God.
Whose heaven is now the dead blackbird. And my grandma? I can only say what comes to my mind when I do power yoga with my ladies. You can think of things like I told you, that everything is connected, that when grandma's love for me ends with death, my love for you is worthless because I don't want to start a love that has to end.
That means you just live your life as if God's existence was a given fact?
I don't know. Yes, it can be a bit like the apple on the branch. It lives as if there is a tree, although it cannot prove it.
But he can see the tree.
I don't think so. What he sees are the other apples because they're like him. But the tree, at best he can deduce it. How can he see it when like can only be recognized by like?
With the handle, it's like wood.
I think it's gotten very dark already. You should hold me in your arms. You're so far away from all that talking. I'm getting cold.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do you miss Grandma?
I do, but I can't reach her.
Are you sad?
Yeah.
Would you miss me too? And I'd be around you as a soul too?
Can you stop talking about dying now?
I thought I was talking about life.
It doesn't make much sense to miss a person when he no longer exists. When he's really gone.
Someone not being anymore is probably a concept that is hard to imagine, because the brain represents the human being in the nerve cells. When something reminds us of a human being, this area of nerve cells is activated and the human being stands in front of us mentally. As a fantasy, it's a brain trick. You can only imagine that someone is, not that he's not, because the brain can't learn that. It can't represent non-presence.
What does that tell me? When I'm dead, do the patterns of your nerve cells still represent me?
That would certainly be a scientific explanation.
That you remind me neuronally? Like data memory, so to speak? Thanks for the compliment.
I didn't mean it that way.
The next time I should take a closer look at which neural network falls in love with me.
Now, don't get offended.
Besides, I thought that when you talk about me or Grandma or you, you're talking about people. People instead of parts of them. When I remember, every pore of my skin remembers, every tip of my hair remembers you. That's me. My eyelashes remember you as I saw you when my eyelids were closed and only the eyelashes looked at you.
I already admit that my view was a little too naive. I just wanted to say that I read something like that.
And you believed it because it was simple? It's really scary that you want to give up the memory of me for some old wives' tale.
If the theory is correct.
Okay. As far as I understand you, it's open whether your theory is true or not. Let's not argue. The weather's too nice. Just beautiful.
Are we allowed to do this at all? Just scatter ashes?
Is that our problem? I can't imagine what this has to do with Grandma.
Maybe we better not think about it and do what she asked us to do.
Well, maybe it's possible that the ashes give the soul a place where it is at home. It's like magnets. Grandma's soul always returns to where the ashes are, because the body has been the beginning of her existence. That the soul had something like a grateful attachment to the ashes, you know?
That's creepy. We don't know, and that's it.
But you also think that she lives on.
Maybe not either. Maybe there will be a trumpet sometime and everyone will be called out of their resting places and there will be the payoff.
Until then, where's Grandma supposed to stay? She can't dissolve into nothing.
Am I God?
This is crazy. I'm not saying it's pointless to ask if Grandma lives on, but I know that I can't know the answer.
What's crazy about that?
Because I need to know something about life after death in order to know that the question of life after death makes sense.
You can also know that it makes sense to buy the shares of a certain company, even though you don't know how the economy is developing. Simply because you're analyzing the development to date, then you are projecting into the future.
But life after that is not a future, is not time, is a different form of existence. Your company would have to change its form of existence. For example, to become an anthill in which you would sensibly hold shares.
As you say, we don't know.
But then why do we at least know that the question of the secret makes sense?
To get into the secret? I guess this is the time for a prayer then, huh?
Yeah. Well, to who?
To whom it may concern.
Good. So, dear God.
Or our Father who art in heaven.
You mean he's not so dear?
He should be able to raise the dead. That's what you have to call him.
Lord of life and death.
If he's a lord.
Source of life and death.
Well, also source of time and eternity.
What's next?
Now you're asking for your grandma to be okay.
You can't ask a source. A source swells.
Sources bubble.
Anyway, a source can't hear me.
If no one's listening, what are you praying for?
Because it calms us down. It comforts us, quite simply.
Then cut out the salutation.
Okay.
Just say, please make Grandma okay.
Please make Grandma feel good. Do you feel it too? We're alone now.
Alone with the empty can.
Hello there.
I'm going to Sterzing.
What a coincidence. That's where we're going.
Great.
You know what? We'll just take you with us.
That would be lovely.
How'd that get there?
Do you also think it's from her?
Do you mean me?
What about your face? You got something on your face.
I don't know what this is. You look upset. Don't you feel well? Do I look so terrible? Do you want me to get out? Did I... Is this about a loved one? Better now? Are you both in mourning?
I don't know what happened, but Grandma wanted to go back home.
Home is a tricky concept. What parts of your grandma were on my face?
None of them, or all of them, or a bit of everything.
That's what Grandma wished for.
There was a wind blowing.